Welcome back to The Explainer. Honestly, I'm super thrilled you're joining me today because we are tackling something that literally every writer, researcher, and student has to face at some point. I'm talking about paraphrasing. Now, I know, paraphrasing usually gets framed as this dreaded academic chore, right? Like some frustrating hoop you just have to jump through so you don't get in trouble. But today, we are completely flipping that narrative. Paraphrasing is actually the ultimate empowering writing tool. When you really master it, you're not just avoiding penalties, you are taking complete ownership of complex ideas and seriously elevating your writing. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. We are going to cover 1. Avoiding the plagiarism trap. 2. What true paraphrasing actually is. 3. 5 techniques for success. 4. The 6-step process. And 5. Paraphrasing versus quoting. Let's get to it. Section 1. Avoiding the plagiarism trap. Getting academic writing wrong can completely derail your work, so we really need to clear the air on what actually constitutes taking someone else's work. I want to challenge you directly with this question. Is changing a few words enough? Take a second and think about your own writing habits. If you find a fantastic sentence in an article, do you just right-click a couple of adjectives, pick a synonym from a drop-down menu, and call it a day? It's a huge misconception that a quick vocabulary swap equals original writing. Look at this visual contrast right here. Our original text at the top reads, "Social media affects how teenagers communicate and build relationships." Now look at the so-called paraphrase below it. "Social media influences the way teens communicate and make relationships." See what happened there? The writer just swapped affects for influences and build for make. The entire skeleton of the sentence, the structure, the flow, it is exactly the same. This completely fails the test of originality. And that brings us to a pretty stark reality. Changing just a few words or swapping synonyms while copying the exact same sentence structure has a name. It's called patchwork plagiarism. Even if you have the best intentions, and even if you just think you're being super efficient, presenting a slightly tweaked sentence as your own original thought is still plagiarism. It is a trap that is incredibly easy to fall into if you don't actually know the rules. Moving right along to Section 2, what is true paraphrasing? All right, so if swapping a couple of words doesn't cut it, what exactly are we supposed to be doing? Here is your definitive answer. Paraphrasing is the process of restating someone else's ideas using your own words, your own structure, and your own style without changing the original meaning. It requires a complete stylistic overhaul, not just a surface-level edit. It needs to be around the same length as the original, but entirely in your unique voice. Think of this as your new writing mantra. I call it the golden formula. True paraphrasing equals same meaning, plus different words, plus different structure, plus proper citation. Let me say that one more time because it is absolutely crucial. Same meaning, different words, different structure, and proper citation. If you miss even one of those 4 pillars, the whole formula collapses. So why even go through all this effort? Well, there are 4 major reasons. First, obviously, to avoid plagiarism. Second, to show understanding. When you can accurately restate an idea, it absolutely proves you actually get the material. Third, to simplify complex ideas. Academic text can be insanely dense, right? Paraphrasing lets you break down heavy concepts. And fourth, to maintain flow. Instead of dropping clunky page-long quotes into your document, paraphrasing makes your paper so much smoother and incredibly easy to read. Let's crack open the toolkit. Section 3, 5 techniques for success. Technique number 1 is an absolute classic because, honestly, it works flawlessly. The read, cover, write, compare method. Step 1, read the sentence a bunch of times until you really grasp the core concept. Step 2, and this is the magic step, literally cover the original text. Hide the window, close the book, put your hand over the screen. Physically covering it forces your brain to generate original phrasing instead of just copying what your eyes see. Step 3, write it in your own words. And step 4, compare it back to the original to make sure it's accurate. Technique 2 is to change the sentence structure. Take our original sentence here. Students learn best when they actively participate in the learning process. Watch what happens when we convert it and flip the subject from students to active engagement. We get active engagement in classroom tasks leads to more effective learning among students. You drastically alter the structure, but the educational message is 100% intact. Next up, technique 3. Use synonyms carefully. Synonyms are great, but they can't be your only tool. The original says, technology plays a vital role in modern education. The paraphrase reads, in today's learning environment, technology serves an essential function. Notice how modern education smoothly shifts into today's learning environment. The synonyms fit perfectly within a newly structured sentence, so the core meaning never gets distorted. This next one is definitely my personal favorite. Technique 4. Change the order of information. Our original reads, "Online classes became popular during the pandemic because they allowed remote learning." For our paraphrase, we just grab the cause from the end of the sentence and shove it right to the front. Because these platforms supported distance education, online classes rose in popularity during the pandemic. Flipping the cause and effect around is a highly effective way to build a completely new sentence skeleton. And finally, Technique 5. Generalization or specification. You can slightly generalize data as long as you don't change the foundational meaning. If the original states 75% of the respondents preferred modular learning, you can totally paraphrase that to, "A large majority of participants chose modular learning." It perfectly preserves the truth of the data while totally changing the specific wording. Section 4. The 6-step process. Now let's combine all those amazing tools into one foolproof sequence. Seriously, take a mental screenshot of this checklist right now. Step 1. Understand the idea thoroughly. Step 2. Identify the key concepts. Step 3. Remove the original text from view. Remember our cover method. Step 4. Reconstruct the idea in your own words. Step 5. Check for accuracy and clarity. And Step 6. Cite the source. Follow this checklist and you are golden every single time. Section 5. Paraphrasing versus quoting. Knowing how to paraphrase is really only half the battle. Knowing when to use it, that's the real game changer. When do you paraphrase? You paraphrase when you want a smoother flow, when the original text is way too long, or to show you actually understand the material. So when do you quote? Basically, you only use direct quotes when the original author's exact words are incredibly powerful, highly unique, or when you need a precise legal or technical definition that you literally cannot alter. In most research, make paraphrasing your default. Before we wrap up, a massive reminder about that fourth pillar of our golden formula, citation. Even if the words are 100% your own now, the idea still belongs to the author. You have to use this formula, your paraphrase sentence followed by the author and the year in parentheses. For example, cruise, 2020. Always give credit where credit is due. To finish up this explainer, I'm leaving you with a little challenge. Look at the sentence here. Students retain more information when learning activities are hands-on and engaging. Take a moment right now in your head. How would you paraphrase that? What structure would you flip? What synonyms would you carefully use? Mastering this takes practice, but you now have the exact blueprint to do it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.